knowing how to pour back into yourself, like pouring into your own cup, I feel is super, super important because I feel like it's easy to get caught up in feeling or having that good feeling of someone else pouring back into you. And I feel like it's good to get that good feeling when someone else is doing it, but I do think it can be quite harmful to like just rely on somebody else doing it for you. Like when someone else does it, it makes you feel seen, right? But I'm gonna say this: once you get into the habit of feeling good and pouring into yourself with a hobby that you genuinely enjoy, you won't even notice you're the one pouring into yourself. It's better said than done, and I know it's better said than done because I'm saying it, and while actively trying to do it, it's like really, really difficult because it just doesn't feel the same when someone else is doing it. And the more that I even think about that, I feel like that's kind of the point. Like you're supposed to know the difference between the feeling of someone else that pours into you and the feeling of yourself pouring into yourself. And I feel like that might sound a bit redundant, but you catch my drift. Like that feeling of pouring into yourself can be you just legitimately enjoying a hobby that you might have. Like you could just like knitting or crocheting or writing or playing like a video game that you really like, or maybe just watching a certain YouTuber or watching like movies or whatever. But that could be something that you just enjoy to do. It's like that form of you giving back to yourself, not relying on somebody to give something to you. Especially if you're in a point where you're asking for somebody to pour into you, whether that's you genuinely asking, hey, like I want this from you, or I want that from you, or I need this from you, I want that from you, or need that from you, or even just like subtly asking for it, where you're asking them, why didn't you, respond to me after you said you were going to, or things like that. Stopping yourself, stopping yourself from doing that or asking those questions are, I feel like those are like baby steps to not necessarily pouring into yourself, but you're stopping them not pouring into you from affecting your overall mood or affect who you are as a person. And I feel like that's even easier. Like once you know what it feels like to have someone constantly pour into you and for them to control how much water you get, I feel like that kind of turns you into like if you allow it to affect you, I feel like it turns you into the same person. It makes you think, well, if I can get somebody that'll pour into me, or if I can get someone that places their value on how much water I give them, then I'm in control and I have power and I can almost do what I want and I can make them feel a certain way and then trick myself into making me feel better about myself. But even then, I don't even think that really makes you feel good as a person. I genuinely don't. I think it's just a hurt people thing, and psychologically you get tricked into believing that this is what makes you feel good, controlling how much water somebody has and knowing that they're letting you control how much water they have. Damn, I'm spitting. That was actually some good shit I just did. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of cooked with that. I get that shit to myself. I cook. And I'm really only thinking about it from that point of view because I was just like having a little back and forth with somebody on like a TikTok comment, and it was kind of on the same topic. And the whole water thing, I feel like is a good damn metaphor. I think metaphor is what I'm going for. Like it's a good metaphor. But that's it. And once you learn not just how to pour into yourself, but you learn that you can control when, or not when and when, but you control how much water you get. So at first it'll start off like, let's say you have like a tall glass of water. At first when you start pouring into yourself, you only can give yourself, this much water. Like this much type of thing. Like you can only give yourself that much water, you know? I'm trying to have the mic, but you can only give yourself that much water. And I feel like over time, maybe instead of just a quarter cup of water, over time you kind of raise it up and you're able to give yourself a half full glass. And even just thinking about it as a half full glass, I feel like is a good step in the right direction. And then you have 3/4 of that glass of water full to the point where you can fill your cup up to a full cup of water whenever you want. And then I feel like even beyond that, like beyond that thinking of filling your cup up, you can then have the mindset of my glass as far as, my glass as far as how much water I have or how much I can pour into myself. You realize it doesn't matter how much water you drink from the glass, it is always full. And I feel like that's the goal as far as, like self-esteem goes and self-worth, knowing you have worth, knowing your worth never goes away. Same as that glass of water, no matter how much water you drink, your worth never goes away. No matter how much of your glass you give to somebody else, no matter how much of that water they drink, it never goes away. And you kind of start to see as other people pouring into you, not as them pouring into your glass to make it overflow because your glass is always full. It's almost as if they're giving you another glass. I feel like that's good too. I feel like you could put it also as like they're making your cup overflow in a way. But I feel like you could also make your own cup overflow too, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just hope the whole metaphor that I'm doing with the glass and the water thing makes sense to you. I hope it helps. Because it's actually, what the fuck was that? It actually kind of helped me a little bit more just thinking about it. But yeah, so that's really all I got for today. I hope this helps somebody. So yeah, take it easy, stay safe, be breezy.